Hey everybody, Kyle and Jake are here from Scram Speed, and we have a really cool car in our shop that we're about to do a whole bunch of fun work to, and we really wanted to make a video of all of the upcoming projects and work that we're going to do to this 88 Monte Carlo. This is one Monte Carlo that's not a big wheel car. It's actually in the shop right now. It's kind of like a pro touring slash half mile not full drag car, but like pro touring, hopped up street car is what he wants out of this thing. He has been to Texas 2K a handful of times and really liked what he's seen. So he wanted to build a G-body to do something similar to that. So we just got the chassis back from powder coat and we have it all prepped and ready to go inside the car. And before we were gonna really start assembling this bad boy, I want to make a quick video on what we've already done to it and what is gonna be done to it over the following week. This car is about to really take shape, and it'd be nice to share it with you guys. It's a super cool project. It's kind of one of those dream projects everybody wishes they could do to their own cars, and Sam's actually getting the opportunity to do it to his. So we got the chassis fully prepped right now, and just back from powder coat last week, ready to go inside our 88 G-body. Before we had the powder coat done and the chassis stuff, to get the body side of it prepped, we did a mini tub on it because he wants a big tire. So we did a mini tub and a frame notch. It turned out pretty solid. We've done a handful of these before, using a couple different kits that you can buy online for the wheel tubs and everything, but they're all about the same. But they turn out really nice. It makes it so that way you can really fit a 10-inch wide wheel nice and low in these cars with a reasonably wide tire. He doesn't want to go too crazy, but we don't want to ever run into room. And the reason we did a mini tub on it and made it so that it was a little bit bigger on both sides for this car, not being a big wheel car, is because of boxes like these over here. We're putting Ride Tech air ride suspension on this car. I've wanted to do that since I went to Ride Tech about 8 years ago and toured the factory. I wanted to do Ride Tech on a car really, really bad, and we have finally the opportunity now to put a full air ride suspension on this G-body. It's gonna turn out super trick and be able to have any ride height we really want, and then when he goes to a cruise in or a cars and coffee or whatever, be able to put it in the weeds and look super slick. And then also handle very, very well. So we're very excited about doing air ride on a car finally and getting our feet wet with that. And then for the rear end itself, we're doing a 9-inch built by Bozer. We called them up and said we needed a 9-inch housing as narrow as we could get it for a G-body, still using factory suspension components. So they built us this bad boy, sent it to us, and as far as the stopping power, we chose Willwood. It's pretty much our go-to on the street car stuff. We really like using Willwood brakes. We've had good luck with them in the past. They look good, function good, and they're pretty much problem-free. As far as the chassis goes, on the chassis side, there's our frame notch that we did on it. You can see that we notched the frame in the areas where the tire needs to clear at. Turned out super clean. They're not very complex to do after you've done them a couple times. Jake's done, it's like the third or fourth one you've done, so so he's got it pretty much down on where to cut it at and how to brace it and make it nice. But we normally always do the same routine as far as taking about enough to make it so that way it's thin back here, but not paper thin back here. And then put a gusseting bar across the inside of it, just that way it stiffens it up really, really good. Shine the light down there so you can see a little bit. And then, on this car is gonna make some good power. We're gonna plan on 4-digit capable numbers for this car. So we went ahead and did some more stiffening just to the stock suspension components. That way when we actually go to put power to this thing, whether it's half-mile racing or if he ever actually wants to autocross this thing or drag race it or whatever, he doesn't have any problems having any suspension flex at all. I don't think he will. We decided to go ahead and gusset the underside of it with these additional frame bars from, do you remember where we got these from?
I don't know if it was trim.
But I mean, right there.
It came with even side plates and stuff like that. You had to cut it to fit, but it was pretty close enough. Full frame box, the crossbars.
Yep, it came with full frame box and crossbars and everything to put this kit in. It was really nice. It made our job pretty quick on this. Rather than doing it all by hand, we have the ability to do roll cages and bend bars and make stuff, but if somebody already has it figured out, that's more times than not the solution that's most cost effective for the customer. In addition, we also boxed in these lower control arm mounts completely with these boxes. We've done those before using just braces or little triangle pieces, but these are actually a full box you put in here. This car is gonna make more power than our usual G-body that we play with that are just big wheel cars or something like that, making 400 or 500 horsepower. This is gonna probably make some more chooch than that. We don't exactly know what we're doing for a power plant, but more than likely it's gonna be LS based, and I'm trying to talk them into turbocharging it rather than doing a Pro Charger or something just for the tunability on the half mile. But funny story about this car. This car actually came to us as a small block Chevy 406 car. Jake just reminded me it was a 406 car, and it made good power. It wasn't weak. It was a really nice car. It didn't drive at all on the street very well. It had a massive circle track camshaft. The chassis and everything was okay, but he had been worked over by a shop previously for a couple tens of thousands of dollars, and didn't even really know what he had when he brought it to us. So we brought the car in and we went to dyno tune it over there on our rollers, and it actually lost the drive shaft out of it on the top of one of the poles, and it completely annihilated the underside of the car and mangled the exhaust. I'll put some pictures up right about now so that we can see just how bad it is. But we use the drive shaft out of this car that's in 3 separate pieces as the example in our showroom as far as why we don't put stock drive shaft on our rollers anymore, just because it can be very detrimental. He told us it had an aftermarket drive shaft and it did not. The previous shop spray painted it and told him it was good. So poor story about it, but now we're past that, and we're moving on to more power and bigger and better projects with this thing. Well, the plan this week is to get the all the body bushings, body mounts put on, get the chassis on the frame, get it all bolted down, make sure it's happy, everything clears, everything looks good. We already mocked up everything, but get it final install and then start putting the suspension on it. We're gonna do front and rear suspension, get the rear end put into it, axles in it, brakes on it, and get this thing to be a roller once more so that way we can measure for wheels and tires. After this week, our goal is to be able to roll it in and out of the shop and actually get this thing under process and get ready for the powertrain. So I will keep you guys informed as far as what's going on with it this week. As I walk in, I have a roll cage to do. But as Jake is putting components on and doing cool stuff, I'll try to dip in here and just get some quick little shots of what he's doing. So stay tuned.